Edo State election has been contested and won. I would say that 1,000 times. And of course, we have the issues, the reactions and counter reactions. The major pullout that we have, from the election is what we're going to be looking at on this first few minutes of our discussion this morning on the program, Edo Decides. Well, I have a robust panelist here this morning. I'd like to first and foremost specially welcome Edward Aswilime, the coordinator of Christian Volunteers for Better Niger Edo 2024. Now, Edward Aswilime joined us a couple of times via Zoom in Abuja, but because of the election, he had to come to Edo State. He had to come back home to cast his vote. Mr. Edward, I would like to especially welcome you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Congratulations to the Edo people.
All right.
I will use this opportunity to quickly say congratulations to the governor-elect, Senator Monday Okpewolo, and his deputy, Denis Idahosa, for this well-deserved victory.
Okay. Yeah, Leftist Omobude is also here with us, an EDA, if you like, one of the coordinators of Edo Civil Society Organization. Leftist Omobude, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Evans. Good morning, Edo people and viewers from wherever you are.
Okay, and I don't know whether to continue to use the Director General publicity or whether his job has ended now. I'm talking about Robusta Ojo. He was, you correct me if I'm wrong, he was the Director General of publicity, Monday Okpewolo Campaign Organization, Edo Election 2024. So welcome to the program.
Thank you, Evans. Okay. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Edo people. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, Africa. And I want to say congrats to Edo people for the choice that they have made.
Okay. We also have Dr. Peter Owaibi. He's joining us virtually this morning on the program Edo Decides. Dr. Peter Owaibi was a member of the Aswe Udalo Campaign Organization in UK. Dr. Peter, a very good morning to you. Dr. Owaibi.
Yeah, good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
Okay, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, so, gentlemen, I would like to start with the very first question here now. Aswilime, Edward. Now, from your own perspective, what do you think are the major pullouts that we can look at in this just concluded election?
All right, thank you, Evans. For me, it's best to say congratulations to Edo people in the way and manner they conducted themselves during this election. I've been participating in election for a very long time. And this one, I've been at home for the past close to 2 months now. While before then, I come and I go. If we talk about pullouts, I want to look at it from the positive side first. And that's why I said congratulations to Edo people. Okay, the violence we used to experience, you can't really talk much about it. Although it wasn't perfect, you have some hicks here and there, small things. People will complain, but it was generally very peaceful. Okay, but I think that much has to be, we have to do much in the area of preparation before election to educate our people that when you contest an election, one person must win. And that winning is for us all, not for a particular party, just an individual. So that we will not have much of the problems we'll have after election. Okay, quarrel fights and destroying things. But just as I said, everything for me is better than we have ever had it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, left to some over there, the civil society organizations seems to be divergent in their responses to the victory. We're seeing reactions from Yaga Africa. It seems not to be comfortable with the result of the election, while some other civil society organizations are just in tune. There's no cause for alarm. Now, how would you want to react to the election too?
All right, thank you. First of all, is to say the position of Yaga Africa is Yaga Africa's position. Does not represent the civil society in general. I must first put that to bear.
Okay.
And for us in Edo civil society organizations, we are still collating all our information. By tomorrow, we'll be making our own press conferences, our own press conference to say. But basically, we monitor the elections. The Edo Society Organization is a local network. We are here in Edo. In fact, all of us are based here in Edo. We're everywhere. So we saw what happened. We know the people and all of that. So for now, I will first join my brother to say, let's appreciate Edo people that election was the most peaceful election we've ever had in Nigeria. In fact, when he said there were some skirmishes here and there, I'm not sure we actually recorded any at all. I'm not sure we even recorded anywhere. It was only during the pre-election period that we had some signs of those things going to happen. But
Yeah, that's exactly what I was referring to.
Yes, but and they were not even serious issues. People were just trying to create create some actions to make it look as if there was going to be, and all of that. But it never happened. So it's congratulations to Edo people, and we monitor the elections. We're still gathering all our materials together so that we can be able to make a statement. But to say that civil society have made some statement, no. It is Yaga Africa that made statements, and whether our statement will be in agreement with what they've said or not, until we have made that statement, because they monitor for themselves, we monitor too for ourselves. That's where we are for now.
Okay. Honorable Samojo, one thing that stands clear, you hear people talk about in this election, is voter apathy, the phenomenon of voter apathy. For most people, they cannot put that together with the results that came out. What's your reaction to that?
Anyway, first and foremost, let me start on a note of caution. A new administration is before us in 6 weeks. We must put every differences behind us quickly. The other parties, the stakeholders, everybody must quickly put this behind us, because the level of work that needs to be done is scary. It's scary. Not even within the Benin City alone. During the course of a campaign, some of us had the opportunity of visiting 192 wards. And I tell you, it's humongous work that will be done. Having said that, I was equally in the field. My friend here, my brother here, Mombude, before we came up, we were sharing information of what transpired during my field activism. So I know what happened. I know why the voters' apathy, as it were, why we witnessed it. First was because of the drum up war beats that came before then, the do and die, the Nigeria were born. Nigerians just thought Edo State was going to go in flame. Then again, added to that was the rainfall, the downpour. I don't know, I was in the village, so I can't tell what happened here. But the whole of Okada, the whole of Uhen, the whole of Ogbese, all the Yoruba camps. In fact, when we sent vehicle to bring out the voters from Yoruba camp, the road was impassable. So we have to use motorbike to bring two voters out, and we couldn't bring out much.
Orchestrated by who now?
Sorry?
Orchestrated by who? They making the road impassable. Who?
Rain.
Okay, rain.
Evans, I hope you are with us here.
Yeah, I am.
First, I have said the war beat, the sound bite of war before the election. Then the natural, rain that came.
Okay.
It was a phenomenon that nobody had any control over, and because of that, voters found it difficult to leave their camps and come to where their polling units were. Okay. I said I've domesticated my discussion here in the locality where I voted. I don't speculate, and I said I don't know what happened in Benin City during that time. So in terms of the low turnout of voters, like virtually 5 units in my community, the least voting unit was 148. And my voting unit had 482. The total voters that came out was less than 200 that we all shared among ourselves. So I think people were scared that the man that was preaching that Nigeria will burn is a do and die election put that fear in many of the voters. And and the rain too came and dispersed many of the voters.
Okay. All right. So viewers out there, we still have Fares Okbere, who is also joining us virtually on the program this morning. Fares, good morning.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for having me.
Okay. Joining you soon. All right, so Dr. Peter Owaibe is also there. Now, Dr. Peter Owaibe, you were a member of the Asuegodalo campaign organization. Even when you were in UK, we saw your support, your contributions and all that. Now you came down to Nigeria because of the election. The election has been contested and won now. Now your principal, Asuegodalo, has called for peace. I don't know how you think members of the PDP are taking that.
Yeah, I'm thinking that yes, the whole situation is very elaborate in terms of discussion, and we are looking at the happiness of Nigerians and most of other West African countries. Their happiness is based on crude realization of enslavement. You see, Nigerians are not quite free from their mind as of now. They are so encompassed in the chains of frustration and intimidation and enslavement. I put it this way, you see, the conventional opinion Nigeria has been, they have been very unfortunate in its leadership. And the leadership is a basic element to avoid a misfortune of a whole generation. So the similar absence of intellectual rigor in the political space of Nigeria is one of our founding problems in this country. I would call it, as they would say, is a kakistocracy. You try to put the wrong people in the right position and you expect to have the right results. That is simply not possible. It is unfortunate that we are into self-delusion, that we can talk about development of Nigeria when we have the less unprepared minds and persons piloting the affairs of the country. You see, in the last election, we were able to see a lot of discrepancies in the part of those who are supposed to supervise the election and make it credible in the eyes of the world. Such agencies were like INEC and the forces and the military and the paramilitary. But we discovered that the police, whose act of formation that was repaired and reenacted, as the Police Act says in the Police Act of 2020, that there must be accountability and, most importantly, heavily stressed to pull back all fears from citizens, transparency. Now, we saw the police, they were not very transparent in their disposition of their duty. Some of them came into the misfeasance of office, excessive force to intimidate many of the voters in many of the sections, which was like, for instance, the police came to where I was. I was in Ward 2, Ida Primary School, and they came with some of these political, the politicians who needed some political emancipation to the wards and possibly dragged and carried all the political agents and political materials, all the votings, all the
So why at that time, what did you do?
At that time,
yeah, what did you do? I mean, as a consigned Edolite.
Abiola, it was MKO Abiola, blessed memory. One said, it's only a fool that will see a moving train and go and stand in front of the moving train. The train will cross you. What can I or you or anybody do at that time when the police come with guns?
Okay, let me pause you. I'll pause you in so that I'll bring Fares Okbere. Now, Fares Okbere, you're there. So what is your own pullouts from the election?
Well, it's the elections. I'm still kind of like short of words. Looking at the way INEC conducted themselves in this election, it's nothing short of an embarrassment. And if you just before I came on this morning, I had gone back again to the INEC IREV and I've looked all over again at the results, despite the fact that we've collated the results that came from the units, to the ward coalitions, and we've put them together and still see that PDP still enjoys a lead of about 30 something thousand in the results that were posted on INEC IREV, results that were posted using INEC PVS machines, posted not on the PDP platform, posted on the platform that is operated by INEC. It's an embarrassment that you have that kind of result there, posted from the units to INEC portal, and then INEC announced a completely different result. It shows that we in Nigeria we have a very long way to go. It shows that democracy is under threat in Nigeria. It shows that that we as a country we are not ready for to embrace changes. We are not ready to become a global nation. It's embarrassing because seeing the way security operatives and the electoral umpire acted in this election is nothing short of an embarrassment. There's nothing to write home about the elections. Particularly the coalitions, because the election started pretty well. In most units, election went on peacefully. It is a collation of result, an announcement of result that INEC, who is supposed to announce results that was collated, by them, announced a completely different result from what happened. It's nothing short of an embarrassment. And
Let me pause you.
and
I'll pause you so that we'll take the discussion one after the other. Now, Edward Aseliman, your own organization, Christian Volunteers for Better Nigeria, was on the forefront of supporting Monday Okbeolo. There was no doubt about that. Now, what we are talking about now seems to be questioning your faith as a Christian organization. From what responders are saying about the result of the election, that the result was probably cheated. As a Christian and as an organization, Christian faith organization, is it true that the election was cheated upon?
Evans, it is good that we are sitting now talking about victory, and I'm happy. From the very beginning, we will be one of the first organizations that does Monday Okbeolo. Okay, and you ask me several questions. And I say to you that there are criteria, there are things we look at before we pick on the candidate. And I mention virtually all the things that you see now. Now, you also know we are well spread. Okay, we might be calm and gentle in the way we do our things, not publicizing them too much because this is a Christian organization running through Christian bodies. Okay, we are everywhere. Edo is small. We did that of Nigeria during the last election. Now, Edo as a state, if I want any information, I get it because we are spread across. Okay? So, in all of this, if anybody saying this election is not credible, you heard what I said earlier. That look, people should understand that when there's a contest, one person will win.
Yeah.
If you were on ground, you saw the campaign, okay, of APC from word to word, unit to unit. You could see the acceptance of this candidate. You could see as the acceptance from the way and manner people were mobilized. This election have come and gone. We can tell from our various units that this election was peaceful. I was happy that he said just now, this election started well, peaceful, in all units, and it is when it comes to coalition. That's okay, we thank God that he's saying that, look, it was peaceful. As far as I'm concerned, and the organization, we stand at all time, head high, okay, to say that this election is one of the most credible elections that has ever been held in the country. And so many people will not accept defeat. They will never. And I am not going to force that down their throat. But the truth about the whole thing, we do know If you say the election was peaceful everywhere and there are things posted in IRF that is different from what they announced, anybody can say what he wants to say. But you do know there is a system that we will need to follow, that to actually put to test what everyone is saying. Whatever he has said, he's saying that from his own corner, or what he feels that he should say, because maybe the candidate he supported, did they win. But I am saying congratulations to Edo people. This is a win for everyone. What we're looking for is one that will take us out of where we are now and bring us to where we ought to be.
And you
As
think
a
Monday
nation, he
will
will
do that?
definitely do that. I said that to you again and again before. That one will want somebody who is God-fearing, wants somebody who is level-headed, wants somebody who has capacity. And when we're talking about capacity, I said, look, even the Constitution talks about what, if you say by education, what level of education you should have to be able to contest for a government. Okay? And we're saying, okay, what has this person been able to do? Even as an individual, even any other office you have had before, okay, we look at all of that and we say what we have seen in him, what he has done with the person and money, what he has done in the 1 year plus in office as a senator tells us as a body that he would do well.
Now,
and do extremely well.
left to some of the, from the civil society organization, permit me to, maybe I may offend you with a question, but I must ask my question. Now, Edo Civil Society organization seems to be laying back, in reacting to some of the issues, some of the allegations that have been made. Is that a complacency posture?
What allegations precisely?
That the election was not free and fair?
All right. I like where you started. Edo Civil Society Organization seem to be leaning back. Yes. Because the things we are seeing now that are happening now started some time ago. And Edo Civil Society Organization started shouting. And the whole world seemed to be silent.
They were quiet.
And we began to look like the mad people or the insane people in society.
Yeah.
And we did predict it just after the local government election that just happened, that if this trend is applauded by the same people that are speaking now, if it is applauded, then we should expect the worst in the days to come.
Which trend?
And the days to come is here. Where people vote, and you see one thing on the IRF, or you see it in the digitalized system of collation, but at the end, technicalities come to play. And you hear, the first thing you hear is go to court, or you will hear go and do your worst. That means it is not the people. It is not the people's aspiration that is being read out. That is not to say that I am discrediting this election. Let me quickly point it. I'm saying that we are leaning back because we have predicted that what happened on Saturday. If it were not checked then you should forget about checking it now. Bene pare bonito come say the thing where they sleep with tortoise mama, if they not cut them off, they will sleep with tortoise Peking. We are at a point now where like in the last time I was here, I complained before we started this program, and you said I was saying some things that were too hard. Is that this our democracy has to be properly redefined.
Okay.
The Nigeria democracy, what kind of democracy? I call it Almajiri democracy. So people say, no, that's harsh. Then our democracy must have a definition. What kind of democracy are we running?
Okay.
Is it for the people, by the people, or for the people?
Yeah, Orobusa Mojo, I saw you nodding your head when Faris Okpere, was making his comments. Some things that he said that you want to react to.
So what I'm going to say here is that before I dwell on the magic of IRF and the physical collation, if PDP had won this election, it would have been a big disservice to Edo people. Big disservice. I left the PDP less than 5-6 months ago. And I will tell you how we amplify what my comrade brother just said here. PDP is one party that has put democracy on its head. They have reversed the pyramid in terms of democratic tenets. The local government election that he spoke about, the primaries at the party level, persons were injured. Delegates were hijacked. The delegates were bribed. And eventually the governor took his pen and picked those that will be his councillors and chairman overnight. Then the next thing, he left that night for Nairobi, Kenya. And from there, he was using phone to teleguide the outcome of the election. Then at the festival hall, I hope they are watching. 350 something leaders and aspirants were there. I stood up. Party chairman, the chief of staff, the SSG, the governor, they were all there. I stood up. I said, His Excellency, say if you allow what just happened now to remain and give you a semblance of a primary that you have done, I said by next year election, you will need to bring battalion of soldiers and ESSM members to prevent the violence that you have put in place. I saw tomorrow. I was in Nostradamus of that day. Having said that, there's so much talk about IREV and physical voting. As far as I'm concerned here, from what I have seen, from what I have learned now, and I hope INEC is listening. If they are not listening, I'm going to do a position paper and send straight to the national chairman of INEC. I think we have to reverse back to the manual collation. You know what happened? It happened to me in my local government. Because through the 18 council chairmen and their councillors, PDP, because Fares, they thought we're going to set agenda for the incoming governor, made their attempt and they succeeded in some area. Moved the rack centers. Rack centers are where materials are shared, including the beavers. They moved them to council headquarters and in some cases to the communities where the council chairmen, are from. It happened in my own ward, in Ward 3, in Ovia Northeast. By 7:30, I made some call a night before. I made several calls. I wrote a petition to the EO in Okada. I drove to Okada to drop my petition. Called the former deputy governor, Chief Lucky Maswell, and the lady EO in Okada, if she's listening, said we should escalate that she doesn't have right to change it. I've never seen where rack centers are moved away from the collation centers. Since I have been voting in my community, the rack centers have always remained the collation center and the ward headquarters. This particular time it was, and we made calls and found that they moved most of the rack centers to local government headquarters. What happened? On the morning of the election, before 7:30, they've taken the materials away. They've shared them. That the ward chairman has to call me while I was just leaving my home to say, Epa, you have your material about. What happened? They did what they wanted to do with the beavers machine, with the result sheets, up to the point that Inolumoye, they took the 2 ballot boxes away and returned it.
I'll let you
I'm coming, sir. Let me just please, Evans, please. I'm reacting. I'm trying to. What I'm going to say now will help you on the technicality of beaver machines.
We'll have other guests.
Except you don't want Nigerians and people to make sense after our discussion. Now the beavers machine, sir. This is what happened. If I am the strong man in my unit, I tell I will do deal with the INEC ad hoc staff, post whatever, and I say, please go ahead, upload it. When they were uploading my results, there was no service. I have to put on my Glow data for them to upload.
That's
at that point, sorry?
You mean INEC didn't have service?
Of course, it's not their fault. Are they Glow and MTN?
No network.
They didn't have the network. It's not INEC's problem.
Yes.
Because they have to rely on network from the providers. Now, at that point, sir, the beavers result that you will upload is not foolproof, depending on the strongest person. And in this case, the PDP, through their chairman and councillor, were the strongest people in the field. Labour and APC were the underdogs.
Okay.
So I'm coming when Fares is comparing the result on RF that emanated from the beavers to the fiscal collation, I want to drop my heart for the INEC for ensuring that they did not allow the result that were collected by the beavers through the RF to sustain and overcome the physical collation, because we are so devious that any technology that we bring in, we have a way of turning it foul. And that was what PDP was relying on, because they had control over the beavers machine.
Okay, now,
so all they talk about, the tally doesn't tally between the beavers and RF and whatever, as far as I'm concerned, PDP were beaten to their game.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. OYB, now let's make recourse to some of the things that Omo just said. He started by probably trying to describe how and why your party, the PDP, lost out on this election. He talked about the last local government election, and of course, he also made a reference to the emergence of Asue Udalo at the primaries, the way Asue Udalo came up.
No. I never.
I thought you said you stood up that to tell the government that the way the
was Asue Udalo, did he contest the local government chairman?
No, I'm talking about the primaries.
Please, that was local government election. Wake up. Do you need some coffee?
Anyway, let's look at it.
There's no emergence of us.
Yeah, Dr. YB, now let's look at the way Asue Udalo came up in the first place. Is that in any way related to why he lost out on the election?
No, you see, I am not too much interested or impressed or want to take my time to analyze certain things that are extremely obvious, even in sight, even to the blind man. You see, there's always, my pain is not, I'm not a politician. I am an activist in my heart. I believe in trying to uphold for the best for the people, not for myself. I mean, if you take a look at the world today, a lot of us don't need so many things for ourselves. But when you see people in pursuance, of self-aggrandization, personal benefits, as against the populist, simple societal social life, you start to wonder why. And there's this contrast between the leaders and the common man, which is almost self-deprecatory, and it's an imagery of a kind of defeatist attitude among the common man, which has been imposed by the strength and oppression of the leadership. You see, we are thinking of a better situation. We are trying to grow into a modern society. Obasanjo once said, I think in 1779 when he went to Ogun State, that in 10 years, Nigeria will be one of the 10 leading nations of the world. But that is an abstractism. That's the thinking that is not realistic as of today. We have seen where government have moved the people to. I'm not interested in political parties. I'm interested in personalities and persons of integrity that have the selflessness and the capacity to be able to deal with the situation that will benefit the general public. When we come here to talk about self-interest, it doesn't make sense to me. We are looking at the common manifestation, the developmental aspiration of governance and government to be able to service and enhance the life and the living standards of the people. Not for us to be telling, election was okay, this one was not okay, the other one was okay. No. And if you look at INEC itself, INEC has contradicted every expectation of the Nigerian society. Everybody is in expectation that, INEC, we pray, INEC will do better this time, we'll do better next time, we'll do. But that is not good enough. The society is for the people. The sovereignty is for the people. The defense of the Nigerian system is to be carried out by the people. And the contrast between these two levels of leadership, it speaks for itself. Sober. Almost self-deprecatory, as I said earlier on. And the mentality of these anthropologists who are apologetic and non-apologetic about the present situation of Nigeria, to me, is heart-bulging. How can we find a situation like this in Nigeria haven't been impacted upon us by a ruling party and the person in government? And we are still talking about not even able to develop the society, the societal expectations of the people. To me, it is evil. You cannot take it less than being evil. That is my opinion. Not election or no election. Why are you okay? If you're talking about democratic processes, we should follow it democratically because it's the people that owns the sovereign things of the land. And it is from these same people that you draw the constitutional right of the existence of a nation. Now, if these people are always being sidelined, subdued, traumatized, whatever they say doesn't make any sense, only what one or two people say that makes sense, then it doesn't make sense at all. That is my position. So it's not about the election or no election. Well, of course, we all saw that the election was rigged. Anyway, the figures are very disparaging. The figures we followed in INEC refs declared Igodalo the winner by a mile. And of course, the figures that were now conjured magically by INEC now made well the winner. And okay, I have no problem with who it is that the people wish to be their leader. But for instance, I will declare the results in favor of the selected governorship of Edo State, for instance. His first move is to go and visit some people, in certain corners of Edo State. They have not even made any statement of appreciation to the general public. You're already visiting pocket nations of threat, and here up and down. To me, this is not a conventional opinion of Nigerians. But the problem in Nigeria, we have been less fortunate with our leaders. And that is, it's frightening. And I don't really know what to say. The basic element of this misfortune is the seminal absence of intellectual rigor in the political space of our leaders. There's this absence of intellectualism and absence of selflessness. All we are looking at is self-interest, and to me that doesn't make sense. I'm not talking about politics here. I'm just feeling pity for Nigerians.
All right, so Faris Okmere, you are still there. Now, do you think there are lessons? Let's take it across all other political parties now, not just the PDP, all across about 17 political parties that featured candidates in this election. What are the lessons? Let's look at the lessons that we should begin to learn from this election. I'll start with you, Asolime.
All right. I talked about preparation before election, that we must educate the citizens about what election is all about, to take out violence completely, and that people be able to vote correctly and vote the right persons into position. This was our stand from the very beginning, that will help the people to be able to look at these candidates and know who to vote. Not because he's closer to me, not because he's a brother, and not because he's in my party. You must look carefully. When some of our persons were making some statement, it's not about election, it's about, governance, that's exactly where we stand. That is about governance. And if it's about governance, who is coming into that position? How do we understand and know that this person will do well for our people? It is about what he has done before. It's the antecedents. When you look at that, you'll be able to predict the future. And that's why we are sure this is where we are. And we must do that again and again. That we must educate our people so that we do not just jump up and begin to vote anyone. That it must be one that will be able to bring us, that meaningful development that makes our life better. And that's exactly what it is. So that must be a takeaway from this particular election, that there was not enough education of the people, not just only to say you vote with this finger or that finger, that people must know who is this candidate, who is the right candidate to vote for. Why should we vote for this candidate? And I tell you, if we do that, our people will become more enlightened, we will definitely get this much correct. Okay. Because right now, they just be manipulated here and there, by all means, to see that, okay, I can deal with this. Okay. But just to say that most of the complaints you're hearing from this You call them opposition this time. But I want to call us one family. We're brothers. Let's harness, our differences so that we can move forward. When the local government election was done, how come no single councillor from any other party won election? What happens? Who conducted that election? Was INEC? INEC was good. Who was in charge of it? The government, the state, the PDP. And so every local government, chairman, PDP, every council, PDP, there was no problem. Everything was okay. It went well. And we're talking about self-aggrandizement. Some of us are very comfortable. When we come into politics, becoming very pronounced, some people like, probably like you, I never do this, what are you going to do there? As long as not bless you enough. We stick and doing what we're doing now because of our people. We can't remain like this. This is an ancient city, it's ancient state that we can do better. Where are we now? Where are we? Yesterday, it rained here and the flood nearly carried me and my people away. We suffer to be able to connect the journey. I don't have anything to say against anyone, but that we know the truth and that we should face it. We understand we are not there yet and we can get there. Now look at this election that we have just done. It's neck to neck. If it is about INEC in support of one political party, if it's about, it's a federal mind they want to use, this election neck to neck. Even the Edo Central, neck to neck. Check the results the way they are. So therefore, we should give it to the body that conducted the election. Okay. They are not perfect, okay? Well, we should give it to political parties. We should give it to Edo people because we were calm. Look at the tension that was built up before the election. We thought everywhere we smoke up. We're coming, like, you posted campaign, you're going to do that. We said, God is going to take control. We prayed, we worked, and there's victory for Edo people. And we should relax. Pray for the governor and deputy elect that they be able to put up a very good team. And that at the end of the day, Edo will be better for it. All of us will sit back again and say, this is what we're saying. We are there. God bless you.
All right. So, Faris, I think we can join you now. Faris, you're there. Hello, Faris. Okay. All right. So you heard when Asolive talked about the tension that was built, and there are allegations that the PDP, your own party, probably maybe contributed to that tension. I wanted to respond to that, one. And secondly, lessons that you think we should learn from this election. Okay. I think we're having a network problem with Faris now. Now, I'll come back to the studio now. Let's start with the lessons to be learned from the election across the political parties.
What we said, not because of the local government election that was conducted the last time, but from the general election. We cried and cried and cried. That cry is what we are crying today. My brother said the electoral umpire did very well, we should give it to them. I want to completely disagree with that. I think we have not started at all. It is either it is INEC that has the fault or it is the chairman of INEC that has the fault. It is either one of the two. So one of the two has to be re-examined. Until we have a system where our elections can be free, fair, and completely credible, this crying will continue from the political parties or the political actors. We are not partisan. We are not interested in contesting in elections, but want to see free, fair, and credible elections that will serve the people. From what we saw in the general election that brought about President Tinubu, all of us agree that even in Edo State here, a lot of things were manipulated. So that means the system, the digital system or the electoral system they talk about, could be manipulated. From what I haven't heard from our brother Omo Ojo now, that means it could also be manipulated. How do we get to the point where it cannot be manipulated anymore? If it is done in the Western world, why can't it be done here? Is that the same system they are using? Is it the same system they are using there we're using here? I think that we should go full electronic voting, where people can vote from wherever they are. We won't need to spend so much resources like we are spending now to conduct elections. At that point, it will be easier for us. Where people can use things like the ATM, the same inter-switch system. Just with your voter's card, you already have your biometric captured. You just go see the party, vote, and live there. People can vote at every time and any time. They don't have to shut down any day because of elections. People can still go about their activities and voting will go on. Until that time, we will keep this grumbling and grumbling and grumbling after elections, where people will come out and say the election was not free, was not fair, was not credible. Because the things we see from here is not what others are seeing from the other side. On the IREF, we started seeing results. Of course, the results we saw were not the same with what INEC came to pronounce. I don't know how that is the function of INEC to explain to Nigerians how they came about the physical result and looking different from the one was uploaded in the IREF. Yeah. Brother Omar just explained of what happened in his area. I begin to have a rethink. That means that it could be manipulated from the very point, at the point of the unit. I never knew about that. That means something is technically wrong about all of this. And who are the people perpetrating all of this injustice against the Nigerian people? It's still the elite. So what is the hope for the ordinary man? That's why I said, are we operating democracy? If we're operating democracy, what kind of democracy are we operating? Is it a democracy of the people, for the people, and by the people, or a democracy of the elite against the people and for themselves? We must agree on what kind of democracy we are operating and agree on what kind of democracy we really want to operate. Okay. The way it is going, Nigerians will virtually not have a say in electing leaders anymore. We'll just leave it for some particular umpires to select the leaders and say, this is what you have.
All right, Amoju, you also want to talk on lessons to be learned.
I am at a loss because we seem not to be moving forward in our democracy. We are still refusing to closely look at what, who, where, and how do we solve it. To me, INEC, as INEC is the best. Why is it the best? Take INEC as it is, take them to a different environment outside the shores of Nigeria. INEC will be the best.
If your party lost
I'm coming, sir. You can ask me that question. Hold on. You don't know what I'm saying.
I'm coming,
sir. If you listen to me, the blame should be on us, the political class. Okay. And any person comes in there, a youth copper, with a beavers machine, and two adults start, maybe they just pick them, they train them for about 2 weeks. Their own is that when they come, let them vote to put your finger there. After that, you go ahead, upload it. And if me as a leader, I cannot come to say, please help me add number to it and whatever. How does that action of me as a politician, how does that become the blame of the ad hoc staff that they brought? So if we are blaming INEC that they are wrong, we should equally be bold enough for us to blame the political leaders. That's what I'm saying, sir.
I've said all of it already.
It is not possible for Mahmoud or the REC that will eventually take the blame to be in over 4,800 polling units. And I just gave you an example, sir, of where 2 ballot boxes were taken away, and the results was accepted by the young persons there because they were scared. They were gone. Curtis came in there, they put gun and made them to accept and count the results, and went ahead to upload that result quickly on the IREF. Is that the blame of the INEC? Is the blame of the political class who wanted to win there? Then too, I think the issue of security during election has to be reviewed. Where you say the policemen coming to polling units are not supposed to be armed. I lost my voice. Why? The young boy, the secretary of the local government that went to Olumoye to snatch the 2 buses, attempted to come to my unit. It's my former boy that has turned rogue. He attempted to come, and I started making frantic calls to the police. I had 4 policemen, but there were no guns. Until I went for self-help, he quickly entered the motorbike and left. How is that the fault of INEC? He didn't come back because I have to reinforce. And these are things that I normally don't do. I don't move about with talks. As commissioner in this state, I did not use the police oddly. I was commissioner of transport in this state. I was commissioner of oil. I didn't use. I was driving myself. So what I'm saying is that the people deserve the kind of agency that they want.
Correct.
Take the Nigerian police away from here. They do very well in Ghana. So we can't be blaming the agency and not look inward. If today we had a law in place to say if you can identify anybody that came to disturb election, they will arrest him and he will be tried and jailed. Next election will be free as sir. Somebody comes to my unit and you are able to muzzle yourself. You steal my ballot box away. You take it to the farm, bring money, compromise the INEC ad hoc staff. They upload result. You now say the result on IRF is different from the manual. As far as I'm concerned, because I'm a political activist, I go to the field. I don't just see it from outside. The IRF can't replace the fiscal plan because. Let me give you the last one. On West, we have evidence now. We are praying that PDP should go to the tribunal. We will cross petition. Many of the local government that they claimed they have to return. Have you ever thought of it? A sitting House of Rep member, sir, that is a running mate, lost his constituency of their Southwest and of their Northeast. And meanwhile, nobody is talking about it to say, for that we should give credence to INEC for doing a yeoman's job. If we have wanted APC, if we are wanted, the young man has done so much for you to win those two local governments. Okay, for peace to reign, leave it for them. How come nobody is talking, is giving credence to INEC for doing a good job in Ovia federal constituency? We have just made 2 reports now of where they stole ballot boxes, return it, and the result is up there on the IRF. We are going to cross petition those ones. We have evidences, we have videos, we have pictures of where the ballot boxes were taken away. In Northern West, one video, a house, the chairman of PDP took the materials with beaver's machine to somebody's home. When the guy heard that the talks were coming, he quickly brought those materials and he announced to say, the PDP chairman brought it to my house. I don't want to be killed. I don't want to be arrested. We have the video. What will beaver machine be doing in the house of a PDP chairman? No, I'm coming. So now. Please.
We don't have the Owan West.
You don't have what?
The Owan West local government chairman to say a note to what you're saying.
No, I think we are discussing. It's for the police to investigate. It's for you to call him in tomorrow. No, you can call him tomorrow. He has the
right to defend.
And I have the right to, and that's why you have the right of reply.
Yeah. So we
have the right, and this is what we are saying. Don't be a gatekeeper.
When you
can invite me and him tomorrow. I will first say with the evidence.
I think it is proper when you are saying something against somebody. It's proper to hear.
Okay,
let
fine.
the person be there so that we get it.
It makes sense. But the takeouts, or the fallout and the pullout of it is that one, the police involvement in election must be rearranged, must be redefined. Yes. Don't send them to us without arms. We don't need them again.
But that will further create a tension that we're talking against.
Because the police don't just sit down on their chairs and watching.
Yes. Sorry.
All right, so let's 1 minute.
One minute, please.
Now, if we have Farex, if we have Farex,
no, please, let me just add this one. Then two, the political class must cleanse themselves. They may not see politics as a do or die thing.
Okay.
The people have the right to choose who will be their leader, and not by force and coerce.
Yeah, beautiful. Dr. YB, if you are still there, now please tell us the results of the election, Nigerians in diaspora, how they are taking to the results of the election. I mean, the victory of the APC candidates at the election.
Yes, the Nigerians in diaspora, you can recall in these particular elections were extremely involved into a very high capacity. But the disappointment also is extremely very high because there was a glaring evidence of INEC compromising these elections by cooking up figures and announcing figures which they made up in their respective offices. And the capriciousness of INEC, in spite of their iniquities and their inefficiency, is so glaringly annoying. And if you can equate this, it's a
dirty ground. And you told me not to indict PDP chairman. It's a dirty INEC.
Just hold on. Is that a general view of Nigerians in the diaspora or a view of some Nigerians in the diaspora?
Hold on, sir. We have the right, capacity, strength, and obvious power to indict anybody in this country. What are you telling me? We in the diasporas are not enslaved. We are not compromised by pettiness of small money here and there for buying or inducing people's mind. and you start to flutter in your thought because you have been compromised by one or two miserable, valueless naira. We in the diaspora don't think like that. We in the diaspora believe in social being and social living. That is, we should all enjoy our national wealth. Our national wealth cannot be in the pockets of certain individuals who only come to victimize and punish the general public by their own expendious expenditure and kind of leisure spendings. What do you need all this
YB,
kind of leisure spending for?
Dr. YB,
So
to cut it down, I
diaspora
think
cannot
we
have
need
the
to take,
assurance.
you need to take
And the
that
diaspora
back, that
are
naira
thinking.
Miserable naira.
Dr. YB.
It is of course it's
Like
very
watching
miserable
toilet
because
debt for £10.
Yeah, Dr. YB.
Naira is depreciating every day.
But that doesn't make it miserable.
Let's talk candid. Listen, we are into a lot of convenience of
Anyway,
mediocre
let's come off.
leadership. We
Yeah.
need.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen, I have to wrap up now. I'll just allow you 30 seconds each quickly. I'll start with Asolime.
Right now, I thank the Edo people once again. We should focus right now on what next. To help to pray as a body, a Christian body, we're going to be praying for the governor and the team that he will want first to select a good team and God helping him with the capacity that we see in him, with the passion that they do in the next 100 days, that we'll see something very different.
Okay.
That will make the heart of the people joyful. That's exactly what I think we should be doing now. Must pray for authorities, okay, and we must do our little best from our corner to see that they do is delivered.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, left to some of the civil agitations, new governments in Edo State. You want to talk
When
about that down?
the people fear those in leadership, is tyranny. When those in leadership fear the people, there is freedom. That is the point that we need to get to. As we speak, the power to choose leadership must be driven from the people. That yet we are not seeing completely. There's so much strangulation of the people by those in authority or those elite, the political elite. So we need power to go to the people so that people can elect leaders. Having said so, I really wish the governor-elect good luck. And I want to say, like you have said, that in the next 100 days, we can see that truly he means well for the people. Because now, like I always said, all the political parties, the two major political parties, did not show us any documented manifesto. So we cannot say on what basis to expect anything.
You cannot say that.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you,
you didn't see.
We did not. We did not see any documented
Which one
manifesto.
did you see?
Yeah,
Which one did you see? Which one did you see?
Which did you? That
Which
you,
one did you see?
If I am of this, I lead a civil society movement. I'm in the street with the people, and nobody have seen a documented manifesto. So which one did you see?
All right. So about the quickly.
Which one did you see?
Quickly, that's
We didn't see.
Okay.
We have one anyway. Yes, 51 election observers can't be wrong. They've said the election of Senator Modi Okpebholo as governor-elect is a reflection of the wishes of Edo people. Yaga or Younger Africa, I don't think we should take them serious. As a matter of fact, like what my brother said here, to say they are yet to make their report, we are anticipatory, looking forward to get their report. We will believe their report more than report of people that will write their report watching major TV stations. Having said that, from the note of caution that I started this discussion, in 6 weeks, months, Edo State will be greeted with a brand new administration. It is our interest, especially the media now, for us to start setting an agenda for the incoming administration. So that as we get to our 100 days, 1 year, 2 years, Edo people will be able to count their gains democratically, because Edo is at a crossroad in terms of infrastructure, and we must quickly do what we have to do, put our government in check and ensure that we get the best for what we voted for.
Okay. All right. So I want to say a very big thank you to our guests for finding time to join us on the program today. Thank you so much, Edward Aswelime,
been
and
a pleasure.
also Lefty Somobude. And Amojo, thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you.
why the batches. Thank you so much on the program.